Let's head to Central Otago now, where the Mayor says he's going to lead the creation of an affordable housing scheme for the town of Cromwell to try to deal with an emerging accommodation crisis there. Average house prices in the town have jumped to $500,000 and there are only 4 properties listed for rent at less than $500 a week. Now, lots of jobs in horticulture around there. They are not high income jobs, and rents at that level will become increasingly unaffordable for people. There are reports of people sleeping in caravans, tents and garages to survive. Here's our Otago Southern reporter, Ian Telfer.
Booming Cromwell has 4,500 people and dozens of jobs on offer, but hardly anything for rent. The coordinator for Central Otago Budgeting Services, Pam Hughes, says the boom may be good for some, but there are now no affordable houses for her clients and it's reached a crisis.
To me, a rental crisis is when you've got no homes to rent and you've got people needing homes. You only have to look at the land agents' windows to see how many rental homes they have. A lot of people who are getting homes are they're waiting for the person to move out before somebody moves in, so they're already taken. They're not actually being actively advertised.
Searching online today, RNZ found just 9 properties listed for rent. The cheapest is for $380 a week, and there are only 4 properties for rent below $500. The on-site manager of Canmuir Motor Camp at nearby Bannockburn, Martine McDowell, says they have about 15 people living there who have moved to Cromwell but can't find any other accommodation. She says they're not all low-income people either.
Single parents that have got kids, you've also got situations where both parents are working and they just can't find anything for their families. I've heard of a father and son living in a caravan on someone's property. I've heard of a mother and 3 little kids living in a tent in her parents' backyard. I mean, you know, it's not too far away till winter. Where are these people going to go?
Speaking from the Cromwell Mall, Central Otago's new mayor Tim Cadogan says he's very concerned by what he calls a serious accommodation shortage heading towards a crisis. He says Cromwell's the district's hotspot because of its lifestyle, proximity to Queenstown and the rapid growth of short-term rentals from things like the website Airbnb.
There's just a lot of people coming in here. Everybody is saying, boy, the place is booming. You talk to anybody. But of course, when you have a boom, there's a risk of people getting left behind. How do people get into the housing market? How do the young ones get established here?
Mr Cadogan says affordable housing for Cromwell's one of his top 3 priorities. He had meetings this morning about starting an affordable housing scheme which he would lead as mayor.
For myself, I look up the road to Queenstown, where the Queenstown Community Housing Trust has been in place for 10 years. They've put 100 families into low-cost housing. I think that may be, something like that may be where we've got to look at to see whether it's something that can be extended down the river to here.
The general manager of Cromwell's The Gate and Harvest Hotel, Glenn Christensen, says he'll back the mayor 100%.
I don't think anyone in Cromwell would deny that this needs to happen and that we're on the border, so it needs to be looked into now. You know, we might survive another year of tight rents. We might get through next summer, but if we continue the way we are, then that's the end of it, I'd say. You know, it'd be too tight from there.
It also emerged today Housing New Zealand has 2 vacant homes in Cromwell which haven't been used for 3 and 8 months. The Crown Agency says demand for state housing is low in the town, and if that continues, the properties may be sold. In Dunedin for Checkpoint, ko Ian Telfer, Tēnei.